We want to go ahead and head back to the city of Rochester, one of those great little communities here in our own backyard. We spoke earlier with the marketing director over at the Village of Rochester Hills, which is a great shopping area. But let's check in now with the president of the Rochester Regional Chamber of Commerce, Alaina Campbell, joining us now on the Oakland County MegaCast. Thanks for being with us.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
How are things looking business-wise there in the city of Rochester?
Well, our chamber represents actually Rochester, Rochester Hills, and Oakland Township. So we have almost 800 members from those three communities, plus the surrounding area. As you know, any business can join any chamber of commerce. I think our businesses are cautious right now. As we know, the numbers are going up again for the positive cases of COVID-19. And a lot of our businesses are reviewing their PRP plans, their preparedness response plans, making sure that those are shored up and they know exactly what to do in the event that someone comes down with symptoms. So we've really been working a lot with our businesses, helping to educate them and keep them up to date on what are the protocols that need to be followed. So they're cautious, but excited as well for the Christmas season that's coming and preparing as best they can to serve their customers and clients during that season.
There have been so many different phases to this crisis, and it swings up, it swings back, it swings up. I feel like we got through that first wave, and now things are kind of getting a new rhythm. But with the increase of cases, are some of the businesses worried that the city and or the state may start shutting things down again? And could they survive another shutdown?
Yes, definitely. There's a lot of talk about what is going to happen because the cases are going up. Will there be another shutdown? And I'll be honest, there's grave concern by a lot of our businesses, particularly those that have been hardest hit, which of course is our restaurants, our hospitality industry, our entertainment venues, our music venues, our theaters. They were shut down for months. Restaurants were allowed to open up, of course, earlier than our entertainment venues and music venues were, but at 50% capacity. And that was okay in the summer because everyone quickly expanded outside. And many of our municipalities were so amazing at immediately addressing the needs so that the businesses could expand outside, so that our restaurants could have seating out on the sidewalks and in different places. But we all know this is Michigan and winter is coming. And that's not, this week has been beautiful, but we know that's going to change very quickly. And that outside seating is not going to be as available or available at all. We know restaurants that are scrambling to find tents, which then they're dealing with the permitting process within their city or their municipality, perhaps, on what are the specs of that tent and where can they put it, and what are the rules going to be with the fire marshal, because they want to ensure safety, of course, for all of their staff and their clients. So they're scrambling to figure out how they can maintain some of that additional seating to get through this winter. But we know there are going to be businesses that are not going to survive if there's another shutdown.
Well, one thing that has been a lifeline for a lot of these businesses has been the chamber, and you and people on your team trying to stay on top of the different loans and grants and programs that are actually available out there. How are you able to navigate the changing tide in that world as well?
Well, with lots of help from some great elected officials that we have. So as soon as, the shutdown started in March, right away we began doing weekly calls that were available to our members, via Zoom, like everybody else, but with all of our elected officials. So everybody from our DDA director in Rochester to our mayors, to our state representative, to our state senator, all the way to our congresswoman, and then our U.S. senator. We had them on a call every single week, updating us and our members on what was going on. What's the current situation with COVID-19? What is the current legislation that was winding its way through both the state and federal level to get assistance out quickly to our businesses so they could survive? Last week, we just did a call with the SBA's Region 5 administrator, Rob Scott. We made it available to the entire Oakland County Chamber network, where he updated us on what he knows at the federal level and some legislation that prior to the election was being worked on. It got stalled a little bit because of the election, and hopefully we're going to resolve the issue of this election, and they can get back to work and get this legislation moving again. But it has been honestly a roller coaster, as you know, as it has been for so many. Trying to navigate daily, sometimes changes, not only in COVID numbers and the response, but also in resources as they become available for our members. And then helping our businesses. What was absolutely critical to us as well was ensuring that our businesses, our members, had accurate information. Accurate. We all know there was a lot of stuff, there's a lot of stuff on social media and even, all the media outlets, right? Speculation and rumor and what have you. And the thing that was really critical for us was making sure we were getting the correct information into our businesses' hands, because they wanted to know the correct information. They wanted to follow the proper protocols. They wanted to reopen safely. They wanted to have a PRP plan, a preparedness response plan. They wanted to do the right thing. But it's been so difficult navigating. Where do I find the correct information?
And you had mentioned briefly about the election. So much of what you and your team does is based on relationships. And it takes a while to build those relationships. And now here we just had an election. Some of those positions are going to change. Their staffers change. Are you concerned that that could put you back a few steps in trying to get some of this information and help that you need, because you have to learn those new relationships, but also those newly elected leaders have to learn their role as well?
That's very true. And speaking of relationships, I'm glad you brought that up. And that's one of the things, of course, that why a lot of businesses join a chamber, right? Is so that they can network with other businesses, they can network with their leaders, they can build those relationships. We have great relationships with our elected officials all the way up the line. And it was so critical when COVID hit that we had those relationships, because we knew who to call. We knew who to call to get information, to get help for our businesses. We pride ourselves. We are a nonpartisan Chamber of Commerce. We don't endorse political candidates. Whoever gets elected, that's who we're going to work with. Our job is obviously to help our businesses, to advocate on behalf of our businesses, and we will, work with whomever is in the office at the time. And we have been fortunate. I feel like we have amazing leaders. Elected officials here in our community. They have been so beneficial to us during this time. So everything from our like I said, our local mayors, to our state representative, to our U.S. senator, all the way up, they've been phenomenal in helping businesses as quickly as they could.
Alaina Campbell with us. She is the president of the Rochester Regional Chamber of Commerce, joining us today on the program. And On the topic of relationships, Alaina, you said that the Chamber has over 800 members, a variety of different businesses from many different municipalities in the Rochester area and in the local area. How important during this pandemic, and even before and after this pandemic, are relationships between those businesses to be able to collaborate, share ideas on how to navigate this, or even work together to improve sales and relationships in the community?
Right, absolutely critical. We saw right away, it became evident right away, those businesses that already had strong established relationships within the community and the B2B relationships, the business to business relationships, they instantly knew who to call and what to do, and had help in pivoting their businesses. There were a lot of businesses, not a lot, but there are some businesses, right, that have never connected. They haven't connected with their local chamber. They didn't connect with maybe their statewide association, maybe their restaurant association or their industry association. And we held the hand of a lot of businesses like that through reaching out. Immediately, we started calling all of our members. We made about 600 personal phone calls to members within the first month, offering them assistance. And then we would hear about their neighboring businesses who needed help. So we'd reach out to them. I did personal Zoom calls with businesses, helping them learn about the SBA EIDL loan and the PPP program, and holding their hand to apply for those programs, because they were scared, a lot of them, to apply for a government program. But those relationships have been absolutely critical. And it's interesting because one of the things that happened, we went into the shutdown and we were all working remotely, right, for a couple of months. Chambers do networking events on a regular basis so that our members can build these relationships. And our members started clamoring, right, for events again, for their networking events. They were missing seeing people, and they were missing, the opportunity to build those relationships. And so we pivoted and started, did some of them via Zoom. And then when we were, when it was safe and we were allowed to, we started doing them outside here in the community. And it was so funny because our members were missing those opportunities to convene and network and build relationships. So we're cautiously getting back into doing some of that, and of course following all the rules and the protocols and things like that. So
just a couple more minutes here with you on the Oakland County MegaCast. We like to look at things with a silver lining as well, though. So it's not all, gloom and doom, even though we're still in the middle of this crisis and we all thought it would be over by now. It's not over. It is going to be going on through the winter months. But what do you think has been one positive thing that has come out of this for the Chamber and some of your members that has really been a benefit and will stick around long after this crisis is over?
Right. You know what, Ronnie, I'm so glad you asked that, because we talk about that daily here in the office about the silver linings. And there are silver linings. And it's so important to see those. We cannot stay stuck in the past. Things have changed, and we know that a lot of things have changed permanently. One of the big things, of course, that came out of this, I think for a lot of businesses and for our organization as well, is the ability to quickly pivot to online platforms. So really looking at your presence online, what is it? Utilizing social media to your advantage, e-commerce. Our chamber is actually did a 3-year strategic plan in August. We redid our entire strategic plan because of what was going on, and realizing that the next 18 months are going to be critical for our businesses and that we need to be there to help them navigate through this. And so we're going to be launching in January something we're calling Chamber 2.0. We realize we can work remotely ourselves. We have an office with empty space in it now. We're going to be renovating our office so that our members can use it. and they can have access to what we're calling a smart office, where they can come in and they can use our space to do a hybrid meeting. So where maybe they have some people in person, some people via Zoom participating in a meeting together, where they can shoot video and put together webinars. We're going to help them put together webinars to help them become subject matter experts. And then that will then help our other members who need their subject matter expertise. And we're going to have this whole entire brand new online platform of content and assistance that's available for our members. And we're going to be helping them do that for their business as well. We all know the internet's not going anywhere. It's just growing bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And we've got to help our businesses become part of those online platforms.
Yeah, I think we should hire a bunch of 12, 13, and 14-year-olds to help us navigate this crazy world of social media. Well, I'm still trying to figure out Snapchat. They've moved on past that and then some. So
TikTok and then
Yes.
I mentioned something to my 20-year-old about Twitch. Okay, I didn't know anything. I didn't know what Twitch was. Okay, it's an online platform similar to YouTube that gamers use. And my son looked at me and he goes, "Mom, I've been using Twitch since I was 12." And I was like, "Oh boy, where was I? Was I not watching very closely what you were doing on the computer?"
That's okay. We won't tell anyone. Well, we so thank you for taking time out of your schedule to share the latest updates with the Chamber with us here on the Oakland County MegaCast. The Chamber, people such as yourself and your team members, you've been a lifeline for so many of these businesses during this pandemic. I know it is greatly appreciated for the businesses and the small business owners, and let's just hope this comes to an end sooner rather than later and more businesses are able to survive. So thank you so much for being with us here on the Oakland County MegaCast. We so appreciate your time.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.